sent some people to get up with Gotti. When he was leaving, and that's when he was approached by Cornelius. Jook asked him how did he know that, and he said that Dolph had an aunt or a cousin that lived by his dad, and Dolph had been bragging on the attempted hit on his brother, and Gotti was in the Rolls Royce bulletproof truck. Gotti is just so secretive. He never reported it. It wasn't even never on social media.
This is the problem, man. A lot of the celebrities, they have a voice. They do their music. What people don't realize, when you have a beef, these are real street guys. I will still pull up and spray and do what I gotta do. Big Jook, he did troll young dog people. Y'all. He laughed. The man was, telling them, I'm gonna pay y'all bill. I know y'all. So now you testing these guys' manhood. Just because the world don't see them, but the homies, the people in the hood see them. So all it takes is one step or one real dude to be like, man, what's that? Y'all ain't gonna put up your hand on y'all business? And the way they doing now, man, I'm scared of them, black. And I'm from the street. That's why I stay out the way, bro. I travel, I be out the way, man, because these little youngsters ain't playing.
Y'all want to know the real reason Big Jook got killed? He was lazy. Yeah, I said it. Lazy. He ain't finished the job. You can't just get rid of one piece and not get rid of the rest of the pieces. That quote from a Memphis figure went viral for a reason. It captured the dominant theory circulating in the city after Big Jook got hit. And when a rapper named B.O. Lil Kenny got dragged out of a row of bushes in January 2026 after a police chase, Memphis locked in immediately. The internet said Yo Gotti had finally found his man. Here's what actually happened. Anthony Big Jook Mims was gunned down on January 13th, 2024 outside Paranon's Restaurant and Event Center on Winchester Road in Hickory Hill. It was around 4:15 in the afternoon. He wasn't at a club. He was at a repast, a post-funeral gathering for a relative named Eric Bowen. His family was already grieving. 2 men were hit in the parking lot. Big Jook was rushed to St. Francis Hospital and pronounced dead. The second victim survived. Witnesses said the shooters left in a white Ford Explorer. Black wheels, dark tints, no plates. Memphis police confirmed from the start that Big Jook was the target. This wasn't random. At 47, he was deep inside CMG, one of the primary connectors that let Yo Gotti's operation move the way it moved. His final Instagram post, dropped one day before he was killed, read, "They don't want to face you, they want to snake you. Stay alert to stay alive. Watch your back at all times." MPD released footage of the Explorer and offered a reward. By August 2025, over 18 months later, they were still publicly stating they had no named suspects. The case stayed open. To understand why the speculation never died and why Kenny's arrest exploded the way it did, you have to know what came out in court about the Dolph killing. On November 17th, 2021, young Dolph was shot and killed at Makita's Homemade Butter Cookies on Airways Boulevard in Memphis. In late 2024, when one of the convicted shooters, Cornelius Smith, took the stand, he testified that Big Jook himself had ordered a $100,000 hit on Dolph, payment for years of diss tracks, label beef, and what CMG saw as ongoing disrespect from Dolph's paper route empire. Smith said the split was $40,000 to him, $40,000 to co-shooter Justin Johnson, and $20,000 to alleged middleman Hernandez Gone. He also testified that after the killing, he and Johnson FaceTimed Big Jook to confirm the work was done. Justin Johnson was found guilty in September 2024. Gone beat his case. Big Jook was never charged. He was killed before any of that played out in court. But the public frame was already set. Memphis filled in the rest before law enforcement said a word. If Big Jook ordered the hit on Dolph, then whoever killed Big Jook in January 2024 was most likely doing it as retaliation from the paper route side. That theory ran through the whole city, which is exactly the lens Memphis was looking through when B.O. Lil Kenny got pulled out of those bushes. Mid-January 2026, video clips started spreading showing police swarming a residential block on the Westwood side of Memphis. Kenneth Mason, rap name B.O. Lil Kenny, had allegedly taken police on a high-speed chase through the city, bailed out on foot, and tried to lay low in a row of bushes. Officers found him and dragged him out. Within hours, the internet had already built its case. Some posts said he'd been quietly on law enforcement's radar for months. Others said CMG had pieced together who hit Big Jook and cornered him. The chase footage, mugshot, and court appearance kept getting recycled with the same caption, "Yo Gotti found his man." 2 things fed the speculation hard. First, the timing. Kenny's pickup landed almost exactly 2 years after Big Jook got hit. For Memphis, a city that runs on symbolism and timing, that felt like a script. Second, his music. Once people started running through Kenny's catalog, certain bars stood out. Lines about sets, ops, and local beef that commentators argued sounded like he was nodding to knowledge he shouldn't have. Comment sections lit up, calling it self-snitching lyrics, claiming only a shooter would know the details he was referencing. One widely circulated Memphis voice put it, "The streets had been watching, putting two and two together long before any arrest." And then there was Yo Gotti's silence. The CMG founder hadn't spoken directly about his brother's death on camera through all of 2024 and 2025. Everything from his side came through bars, cryptic posts, and lines passed through people in his circle. When Kenny's chase popped off and Gotti stayed quiet, the streets read that silence as confirmation. But here's what the actual record shows. According to every mainstream Memphis news outlet that covered the arrest, Fox 13, Action News 5, The Commercial Appeal, Kenneth Mason was booked on offenses related to evading arrest, reckless driving, operating a vehicle with illegal tint, and possible drug possession. There was no first-degree murder charge filed against him, no homicide indictment, no reference to the Big Jook investigation in the charging documents. He was held briefly at Shelby County and walked out within days. That timeline alone dismantles the theory. Suspects in high-profile unsolved murder cases do not walk in 48 hours. If Kenny had been arrested as a suspect in Big Jook's killing, he would not have been released before the week was out. The math doesn't work. Once he was out, Kenny addressed the noise directly. He said he caught extra hours in interrogation specifically because of how loud the internet had gotten. Investigators reportedly questioning him about the rumors that had built up around his name. He denied any involvement in Big Jook's death. He said he wasn't seeking clout from any of it, and he called the internet a dangerous drug, describing how fast online speculation hardens into perceived fact for people who aren't close enough to check the actual charges. His statement lined up with the investigative reality. As of the most recent reporting, Memphis police continues to list Big Jook's murder as an open investigation with no named suspects publicly identified. The self-snitching lyrics that fueled so much of the speculation also fall apart under closer examination. Memphis rap as a genre is stacked with violent imagery, set references, and street content, pulling bars from any Memph rapper's catalog and matching them to details of an unsolved local hit is going to produce coincidences regularly. Most of the specific details that commentators called things only the shooter would know turned out to be either widely circulated information or generic Memphis rap content. Under any actual evidentiary standard, those lyrics don't add up to a confession. The Bush's symbolism, as powerful as it looked, was just a man who bailed out a car trying to hide from police. That happens in every city, every week. It doesn't establish a connection to a homicide. As for the Yo Gotti found him framing, there's no public verifiable evidence behind it. Gotti has not publicly named Kenny in connection with his or death. CMG has not identified him. The found him narrative was generated entirely by speculation, not by facts. What the B.O. Lil Kenny situation actually revealed is something deeper about where Memphis is right now with this case. Big Jook's murder hit a city that was still processing Dolph's killing, still watching the trials play out, still sitting with a grief that hadn't been fully addressed. The hunger for resolution is real. And in that environment, a Memphis rapper getting dragged out of bushes after a wild chase 2 years to the month after the killing was always going to ignite the rumor mill, regardless of what the actual charges were. That's not a knock on Memphis. It's an honest read of what unresolved violence does to a community that's paying attention. A man was killed in broad daylight at a family gathering in January 2024. His family has been waiting for answers for over 2 years. Whoever pulled the trigger outside that restaurant that afternoon is still unidentified by law enforcement and unnamed by any credible source. B.O. Lil Kenny's pickup was real. The chase was real. The arrest was real. What it wasn't, based on everything in the public record, was connected to Big Jook's murder. And until MPD actually closes that case, every new arrest in Memphis is going to get examined under the same lens. Big Jook's case is still open. This white explorer is still out there. And the streets are still watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Memphis law enforcement is close to naming somebody? Or is this case going cold? Subscribe for every update as this story develops.